Well, I got the bird's eye view up here. Now, a lot of times I go into stores and I see telescopes for sale, and they appear rather inexpensive. For a budding young student who's interested in astronomy, what do you recommend?
Well, what I recommend is that you don't get a telescope from a department store for sure, because those telescopes, the telescope itself might be fine, it might have decent optics and everything, but almost always the mount is the problem. Those department store telescopes are going to be on very wobbly mounts, and trying to point the telescope and keep it steady is almost impossible. And quite frankly, I usually recommend not spending less than $200, maybe $250 for a telescope, the actual minimum. And it's a good investment. A telescope will last you forever if you take good care of it. But what I usually recommend is like a first telescope for casual sky gazing is something like this. This is a Newtonian reflector telescope. It uses a mirror. I don't know if you can see down.
Oh, I can.
There.
Yep.
And you can see the mirror at the bottom of the tube. There's a secondary mirror up near the top that's tilted at a 45-degree angle. It deflects the light out through the side of the tube. And it's a bare bones, no frills sort of telescope. Does not track, and so when you're looking at something in this telescope, every once in a while you have to nudge it a little bit to bring the object back into the center of the field of view. Again, you get the biggest bang for the buck. This is the biggest telescope you can get for the least amount of money, basically.
Now, you said Newtonian. Is that a reference to Isaac Newton?
Yeah, Isaac Newton invented this optical design, among many other things that he did. And it's a very simple optical design, and that's why the cost is way down. If you wanted to get a refracting telescope with the same aperture, the aperture is the width of the lens or the mirror in the telescope, a refracting telescope that uses a lens would cost probably about 20 times more than this telescope. And so this is a very simple optical design. And it's just a simple up and down and left-right sort of motion. And so it's very easy to point. And the telescopes have gotten more expensive in the past few years. This telescope, you used to be able to get this for about $400, but now it's closer to $600 for an 8-inch Newtonian reflector like this. So telescopes, the prices have been going up, unfortunately.
Now, I've read there's two basic type of telescopes. They're refracting and reflecting. Is that true? There's
refracting telescopes that use a lens and reflecting telescopes that use a mirror, like this one. The thing with the lens, usually a refracting telescope which uses a lens to collect the light, you have to have at least 2 lenses to correct for color aberrations. A lens kind of acts like a prism and it breaks light into different colors. So in a refracting telescope that just uses a single lens, different colors of light will come to a focus at different points, and it'll give false colors around images. And so to correct that, you use an additional lens, and some really high-end refracting telescopes use 3 lenses. They're called triplets. 3 separate lenses, very closely spaced, and each lens brings a different color to the same focus, and so it corrects for all those color aberrations. But those are very expensive telescopes, because if you have 3 lenses in your telescope, that means 6 optical surfaces that have to be ground and polished, and all those lenses have to be optical quality glass. And so that's a really big expense. A reflecting telescope only needs 1 optical surface to be ground and polished, just the surface of the mirror. And the glass itself doesn't even have to be optical quality glass. And so that's why the cost of a reflecting telescope is much less than a refracting telescope of the same size.
Oh, fascinating.